Help protect us from racism and xenophobia by becoming an I Love Black People ambassador today. Join on iloveblackpeople.com. No matter where you are in the world, join us today and get access to the I Love Black People network. Special thanks to Banneker Communities.
Greetings and welcome to another edition of I Love Black People. Thank you so much for joining us. And as you know, we couldn't do this without you. It's a great journey. And to do this journey, to have this journey, to be on this journey with you has made all of this so much worthwhile. Just want to kind of really kick off our big campaign, our bus tour, our Love and Protect Our Children bus tour that we're going to be conducting throughout this summer to get it started. And our focus is, again, youth gun violence. And as you know, of course, as a co-founder of a tech startup, as an engineer, we're always looking for ways to solve problems. That's what engineers are known for. So what we're doing here is solving problems using methodology that people associate with hyper-growth companies, tech startups, and mobile apps. And so we've literally created a platform to create a safety net where we're getting members of our community to create a safety net, something that we can use to share information about places that are safe. In addition to that, we're literally making sure that with this campaign that we target youth gun violence. And we're literally gathering information, recruiting people who are literally interested in ending youth gun violence, and very specifically in DMV. When we call DMV, it's the DC metropolitan area, but our target is DC. And one of the hubs of this campaign is Howard University. And we bring up Howard University, for those who don't know, is a historically Black college and university in the United States. And these were universities that were created after the enslavement of African people in the United States for us to receive our education, because up until that point, being able to read in many parts of the United States for African people who were enslaved was illegal. So these areas are bastions of amazing, brilliant people, from the Booker T. Washingtons to Mordecai Johnson, to so many brilliant folks that have come out of these historically Black universities, that really they should be places that are safe. There should never be a situation where our young Black and gifted should be afraid or in fear anywhere near one of these places of higher education. That's if they're in school or not. So we're using Howard University as the hub, but literally the campaign is about making sure that we end youth gun violence in the DC area, full stop. And we're leveraging one of the key pieces of the puzzle are people who are already doing the work. And many times people make it seem as no one's doing, there's really people doing a lot of good work, but that work doesn't get brought up like the negatives. So we know there's people doing positives, and we're going to leverage this campaign to highlight those positives. And the superstar that we're really heavily leaning on is a brother by the name of Ronald Moten, who's been doing work in DC as it relates to gang intervention, making sure that our people, young people, are safe, even with some of the LGBTQ teens who were literally forming gangs were being overlooked. And so making sure that all our people are safe from youth gun violence. And again, I oftentimes get people asking questions about, what about this particular type of Black folk or this? Listen, we say I love Black people. That's all of us. I don't care if what your religion, what your orientation, what your gender, if you're fat, short, tall. Our focus is making sure that we literally protect our people from the harms and humiliations of racism and Afrophobia. And Afrophobia is literally the irrational fear or hatred of people perceived to be of African descent. And we say perceived because, first of all, there's plenty of our people who don't call themselves African, they don't call themselves Black, they don't call themselves Negro, they don't call themselves African Americans, they don't call themselves a host of things. And sometimes people get judgmental about that and say, well, we're all this and this is where we came from. I think this is a part that sometimes gets missed, with all the things that we've been through, and we're all different as far as individuals, and we have the right to be individuals too, along with all the other things we call ourselves. But everybody deals with the trauma and experiences differently. Some people say, "Don't call me nothing. I'm just a person." Some people say, "I'm wherever I was born." Everybody deals with what we've been through as a people, which has been really traumatic. If you think about the fact that just a few generations ago, many of our ancestors were owned by people, like that's a real traumatic piece. And then if we think about apartheid or so-called segregation, where it literally was unlawful, we would go to prison, go to jail, and be tortured and raped for going places. So it's literally one of those things that there's a consequence, and how everyone deals with even the ongoing issues that we face with the systemic racism in the world, the vestiges of the continuation of colonialism in the world. Everyone's response to that is not going to be the same. I think that's the part that is odd for people to think that we as a black people, or as people from descendants of African people, that we're going to respond to our circumstances all the same. We're definitely different, even within families. We're different. So if we're going to be different from our brother and sister, just imagine how we're different from someone across the street or across the world. But that being said, for those who wish to do something collectively, no matter what they call themselves, we're saying there's some things that we can do by working together to stop some of the things that are happening. And one of those things is ending youth gun violence. It's unacceptable in the United States in 2024 for young people, 12, 13, 11 years old, to be literally killed because of youth gun violence. So these are things that there's more of us, and no matter what you call yourself, than those who are actually participating in youth gun violence. So we're the ones that we've been waiting on, and we outnumber those people who are doing bad things by the thousands. So it's about taking, and this is Kwame Ture, organize, organize, and organize. And we spend a lot of time organizing the vote to make sure we get the right politicians, which is fine. But I think we may not realize it, but we're not going to vote our way per se out of this. There's things, voting is one day or one moment that you take. And that moment is probably one of the best things you can do in 10 minutes. I actually voted today in Washington, D.C. And my wife and I just took our jogging, we normally walk, and we just walked to the polls. So, walk back home. So we incorporated into what we were already doing. But I'm just saying the 10 minutes it took, there's probably nothing better on a Tuesday that we could have done better than voting as it relates to making a difference. But now 10 minutes is only 10 minutes out of a 60-minute hour out of a 24-hour day. So what we're going to do with the remaining time of our day is actually going to probably have a huger impact on our quality of life or our community than that 10 minutes I took on the voting. And I'm not saying it's not important, but literally that 10 minutes out of a 60 minutes, out of 24 hours, out of 7 days, out of 12 months is probably not the only thing I need to be focusing on. And if anything, it may not be even the determining factor of what happens in our community. What we do with the remaining time is probably going to have more to do with our success or failure as a people. And we need to hold ourselves accountable to those remaining time. Now, of course, those people who get elected need to be held accountable too. So I'm not in any way scapegoating us. But what we're really speaking to here at I Love Black People is empowering ourselves. How can we empower each other by leveraging technology to end the systemic issues that plagued our people for quite some time? And we want more tech startups to focus on this. There's so many tech startups out there, but few that have actually taken a very specific view of what has been plaguing, 1.5 billion or more people on the planet. That's a real number. 1.5, that's a big total, market, that you could talk about. So again, when we're looking at the TAM and all those things about startups, and these are words they use, this is a pretty big deal. and the work we're doing is important. And we all know that young children being killed by guns is unacceptable. So this summer we're right now getting the bus off the ground. We delivered the bus, and now we're got a couple little bumps and things that we got to get fixed on stuff. But literally, it's the coordination of all the efforts of really good people. One of the things that's been great about Love and Protect Our Children as a campaign is we really have worked with some entrepreneurs, business people to make these things happen. Of course, we've had some very awesome support from the city. When it comes to the leadership of Mayor Bowser, she's my favorite mayor. But I tell people, loving and hating politicians is not a political strategy. We literally got to always start with holding ourselves accountable and holding all the rest of these politicians accountable. And so that being said, our accountability is what motivates and calls us to actually have a bus tour called Love and Protect Our Children, where we're literally going to be moving around the city of Washington, D.C., starting at Howard, all the way to a place called Sycamore and Oak, where we're literally going to make sure that we spread the good news, that we're recruiting as many people to volunteer to help in gun violence, period. Not make it easier, but a little less, but end. So we're recruiting all summer long, as many of you as possible. Our goal is 500 people in the DMV area that will commit to supporting our efforts to end gun violence. We've been getting help from business owners who've been sponsors and support that effort. We have a bus, a 42-foot. It's actually an RV. Again, the diesel fuel is not free. Again, we want to make sure we use the best clean diesel we can, and we'll talk about that. Maybe we can use some cooking oil. But we got a driver, great drivers, and we actually need a few drivers. So anybody give us a shout out, info@iloveblackpeople.com. We're always looking for drivers to help out if someone can't make it a day or something. And then two, we have some great interns who are doing the outreach, making phone calls, touching people that are actually in the community that might have some time. And we're talking about folks who are engineers like myself, or doctors, lawyers, accountants, electricians, carpenters, drywall, professional tradespeople and professional workers who may not be spending as much time thinking about the issue of youth gun violence. Maybe your children aren't faced with it. Maybe the activities that you have your young people in help make sure that is not something that's a direct impact on them on a daily basis. But we always talk about, it takes a village, it takes a community. If we look at what we've been as a people, even following enslavement, our families have been torn apart. And we were some of the main people who do family reunions just to bring our brothers and sisters back together. So we're not going to just talk about, well, they got to have good parents. Everybody can't pick who they're born to or how they're born. So there's those of us who have the ability to affect change and make a difference to help them. And we think through this Love and Protect Our Children tour, sponsored by I Love Black People, that it'll allow us to do that. Now, one of the key parts of that, we need everyone to download the I Love Black People app. And we now have a feature that allows you to communicate, chat, post pictures. And we have a series of categories that fit the work we're doing for identifying safe places. But we also have a Pan-African group for those who just want to talk about Pan-African unity as it relates to One Africa. And we also have a Love and Protect Our Children group or channel. So for those who are interested in the work we're doing around that, please make sure you join, and we'll be posting our progress throughout the tour on the website, on the app. And then we also have a HBC Oasis group. And this is a pilot project that we're literally looking at taking the work we're doing around Howard University and expand it to all the over 100 historically Black colleges and universities, so that every historically Black college can be an oasis where they're protected. With that being said, those are the things that we're working on right now. Spreading the information, please follow us on our social media, share what we're doing. Another big thing, we're literally going to be doing some launch events in Amsterdam. We're doing like our Euro tours. There's some tech conferences that are going on in both places. Europe 2020, Money 2020. As you know, our background is a tech startup has been in the field of blockchain as well as Bitcoin and payments, remittances. So that background has given us access to some of the best minds in these technologies, emerging technologies. So we're going to be attending a conference in Amsterdam on that, and then we'll be in London at the African Tech Summit, where we'll literally reconnecting with some former employees. Shout out to Brother Award, and we're going to actually have a booth, and we're going to be sharing the good news about our two campaigns. We've already had a campaign called the Pan African Unity Campaign, where we've been identifying Pan African businesses throughout Africa, where we're pulling them together. But we also be sharing with them with the launch of the Love and Protect Our Children tour, and we'll also be revealing the new features in our app, the I Love Black People app that you can download on iOS and download on Android. So those are really big things that we're going to be sharing. And what's interesting about doing this in Europe, part of the diaspora, again, even though we come from a common home, one of the other things we have in common is that we're very different. So there's so many things on the continent of Africa that are important for us to share and be a part of. But just as much as in the Americas as well as in Europe, there's parts of our extended family that are going through issues, and sometimes they may not know what things that we're going through. So going to London is going to give us a great opportunity to, give us things to share with our family in the Europe, in London, Amsterdam, and they'll be able to share with us. And I think that's another thing that's important. When colonialism was going on, it was enslaving folks, and we all had access to I Love Black People app. We could have shared the information with each other to help make sure that, hey, don't let them off the boat. I don't care how thirsty or hungry they are. We could have been able. So now we're building our own Pan-African communication so that we can literally share information with each other to help each other protect ourselves from the harms and humiliations of racism and Afrophobia. And these are real tools that, really at the end of the day, we need to use to make sure that we learn from each other. Because a lot of the things that have been done to us as a people were done over and over and developed and improved, if you can call doing, insidious rape, murder, and stealing, kidnapping, something you can improve upon. But much of what was done in many of these places were then improved on and done in other places. Even when people talk about the Jewish Holocaust in Germany, the Germans had already learned from the U.S. as well as had done things in a country we call Namibia, I think at the time was Southwest Africa, where they had concentration camps that were used to exploit and harm our people on the continent. They had done those things. They just hadn't done them on Europeans yet. So in many ways, there's information that we can share with each other to help each other deal with some of the issues of oppression so that we can be more equipped. But we need to have these conversations in ways that are literally uplifting. One of the things that can get a bit taxing is, dealing with the oppression in a way that can really add to your depression and suck your energy away. We're very clear that we know we're on the right side of history, on the right side of God, on the right side of everything when we say we're going to make sure we end youth gun violence. When we talk about loving Black people, we know we're on the right side of God, on history, on nature. That is unacceptable for folks to lash out against our people with racism and Afrophobia. This is everything, unnatural, unhistorically, ahistorical, everything. We want to make sure we're clear that the work we're doing is on the right side and that the victory is not if, it's when. It's inevitable. The folks who are trying to create a world where people are oppressed and harmed they're on the wrong side. God is the one who made us free, not people. So the only people are trying to take it away from us. So They don't. Well, they said their arms are too short to box with God. So I'm not saying God gonna be fighting folks, but I think what is key is that it's important that we see all the things that we're working on as being a part of taking little small bites. You don't eat an elephant in all in one bite. And I'm not talking about eating literal elephants. We can not eat elephants if you want, but literally we don't have to tackle these things all in one shot. If all of us apply our skills, or enough of us put our skills, enough, put some time, not all your time, but some of your time, we can end this youth gun violence and we can create a world where it's safe for our people, where they don't have to experience racism and Afrophobia. These are the things that we're really targeting. And with your support throughout the summer, you'll be able to join us on different activities. We're going to be sharing our I Love Black People t-shirts. We're going to be, as part of the tour, we're going to be visiting your favorite Black-owned businesses. Again, spreading the love, letting them know about what's going on. And even Black businesses. It's not enough just to be a Black capitalist. And again, y'all know what I think about capitalism and how exploitive and harmful that is. But if you are one, there's still things you can do to be a better person. I mean, we all who participate in this capitalist experiment know how predatory and exploitive it is. With that being said, we need to be spending as much of our time in healing and helping our community as much as those who pursue making as much money. And I'm not saying money is not important, but again, it was already said in a way that makes it very clear. Julius Nyerere said, instead of us making the issue about money, let the issue be about us working together. Let the issue be about our labor and our minds coming together to solve our problems. Instead of us looking for money, let's look for ways that we can work together where we may not be able to do things that money can't buy, and do it in a way that's so exceptional that we end up creating resources. Let's talk about resources now. Money is just a way to convey resources. If we can figure out a way to convey resources without money, then we're winning anyway. So again, a lot of this is about how we can leverage technology in a scalable way to do these things. And we don't have all the answers. So let's also talk about that. We're here to literally create an environment where the answers are going to be more likely to come up and solve the problems that we've been having for years. And we think that the years that we've had youth gun violence is not hundreds of years. It's not really tens and tens of years. It's probably less than 50, maybe less than 40 in many places. So this is not like, oh, young Black people have been killing folks for hundreds of years. How can we stop it? Or young people have been carjacking folks for hundreds of years. It's inevitable. It's not inevitable. I'm not saying folks might not have stole a car, but people sticking a gun in somebody's face and tell them to get out, that's new. That's not Black young people. We have no young people been known to do that, except for something more recent. So we got to, again, know that not only is this doable, that we can stop youth gun violence, we can stop people from harming our children, but actually now use this moment to come up with the ideas and answers to actually solve that. And again, sometimes we talk about, well, we got to solve poverty first. Look, Black folks have been poor in the United States because of this racist system for a lot of years. We weren't going around shooting our kids. So this is not necessarily connected explicitly with poverty. Being poor and murdering people with illegal handguns aren't the same thing. And even though people try to make us think that, I've been all over the world, over 60 countries, and I've been places where people were poor, and there's been many places like that. I felt safer in the places where people were poor, meaning economically, than some of the places where people had money. And people had money, I was afraid they might come get me. So again, I think sometimes we allow the media, we allow the status quo to tell us rich is good, poor is bad. Poverty means you're going to be a criminal. Having money means you're going to be innocent. And there's probably no connection between someone being a liar, cheater, no good, and how much money they have in their pocket. Booker T. Washington talk about character building. Your character probably has almost zero to do with money. and has something to do with internal. Again, download the app. You can go to iloveblackpeople.com/app, APP, or just go on the Google Play or App Store, and you can download our app, I Love Black People Safe Places. We definitely appreciate everybody's help. We couldn't be where we are now without you. We have thousands of people who literally have joined us. We appreciate all the help and support, and we have a lot more work to do. But if more people join, the less heavy that load is going to be, and that's why we were here. We're here to, follow our calling. I thank everybody. Oh, I forgot to bring up my birthday. And thank you for everyone who gave me well wishes for my birthday. Definitely appreciate it. Shout out to a good friend of mine, Omar, who's going to have a birthday party. And make sure y'all who know Big O, you go ahead and join us for his birthday party. And thank you all for everything that you continue to do. We couldn't do it without you, and you make the work so much more enjoyable because you're part of our journey, and we're prayerfully a part of yours. And I think it's important that we tell folks to make sure you follow us on our social media. You're going to reach out to us. You can reach out to us on our email at info@iloveblackpeople.com. For those who want to join us for the Black Blockchain Summit coming up on the 20th of September, go to info@blackblockchainsummit.com or go to our website, blackblockchainsummit.com, and be a part of this. We're going to have a emerging technology event where we do every month, the third Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, sharing information about the emerging technology. Shout out to AfroBlocks and Melanin to being part of that. And as I always leave you, I am because we are, and I thank you.
Help protect us from racism and xenophobia by becoming an I Love Black People ambassador today. Join on iloveblackpeople.com. No matter where you are in the world, join us today and get access to the I Love Black People network. Special thanks to Banneker Communities.